what you want, open invitation. I'm a human being infused with creative vibration, utilizing melodies and visual stimulation. Beats and stories get the glory, you get the relation. I get impatient like a doctor racing. Bullets coming from my soul, my body just a casing.
Welcome everybody to the Paralyzed Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Alvarez. And today I actually have my first model guest. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Yara, and I'm from Los Angeles, California.
And she models and does apples and is a super creative person. And we're going to showcase some of that. I'll show you guys some of the work that we've done and some of the work that we just did. We actually just finished a little mini shoot. We kind of like, both of us are getting back into the grind of shooting and photography life and model life. So how do you think that went?
It was challenging for sure. I'm rusty because I haven't done it. And then, so like that was a challenge in itself. But then shooting in the outfit that I shot in was also a challenge, you know? So like that and a few more things just added together, it can be tough.
Same. I was like fumbling with my lights, trying to fix the flash, trying to get the settings just right. And I feel like I didn't really quite get it where I like right. So we're on the same boat. But yeah, I feel like we got some cool shots.
Oh, for sure. 100% you did that. So
I'll throw one or two maybe in here and show you guys. So how long had it been since you done any like photography stuff?
it had been a while. I had already kind of started pulling away from the community, more not in a sense where like I stopped coming around, but I just like stopped modeling for people. And I also just stopped being creative myself. I went from doing a bunch of shoots like every weekend to not participating in any, you know? So I was like just thinking a lot and going through my own thing, and then COVID happened. And then, you know, that everything else.
Yeah, I it was kind of the same for me. I had stopped shooting, like stopped trying to book shoots, even before COVID, and then COVID hit. So now it's been forever. So now I feel extra rusty, and but yeah, like I had stopped for kind of like for a specific reason. I was actually talking to you about this the other day when we were talking. I I was booking shoots with people, right? And like we were setting dates, and we were, like planning stuff out, but people were just not showing up. Like they were just like canceling or flaking. And I started feeling like maybe there's something wrong with me. Like maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm sending out a weird vibe, or I don't know, being weird in some way. So I started getting kind of like depressed about that. So I was like, okay, maybe I need a break from shooting. So I'm just gonna like chill. I still went to a few of the meetups. Is that specifically where we met? Do you remember like the specific time that we met?
Yeah, actually we met at it was a small event for, I believe it was Valentine's Day, and you were in the back, and I remember you had a picture with like a guy in a werewolf costume, and there was like a fire and all that stuff. And I just remember these really big, it was a nice big print, and like we exchanged it for apples, and you gave me your photo.
Oh yeah, I remember. I remember now. I remember. um, I one of the themes that I think I'm gonna do with this podcast is kind of like, cause I've always wondered like if people perceive me or kind of like see me differently than somebody that's like able-bodied. So that's like the reason I asked if you remember when we first met, because I wanted to ask you like what was your first thoughts about me, or like what was your first like initial.
Well, I really liked that photo. I thought it was super badass. So I just felt like you were really talented. The colors were on it. It was like interesting. I'd never seen a photograph like that. And I was like, how did he get all these people?
Got him.
I was like, I don't even remember specifically. Like, I mean, I guess that was pretty specific though.
Then you were just like, dude, this guy's pretty talented. Like, that was like the
Oh
initial.
yeah, definitely. I thought you were talented, and I think that I didn't get your name. That was one of the things too, because I was like, what was that guy's name? Like, I have his photo and I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, I'm super bad with names too. So
But then we ended up meeting later on, through people and other events.
you were going to meets. I would see you at a few meets. How did you get into the? When I say meets, I mean like in LA, there's photography meetups where people they'll post an address and post a day and tell people to like show up in certain things or just show up to be creative. Like, how did you get into that scene?
I was invited by a friend and I was like, what is going on? I had always wanted to express myself more creatively. And then I found a place where I finally could. And at first it was just kind of like observing. I would just come and I started meeting people, and then I would show up with my clothes and my outfits eventually, and then eventually started shooting with people. And more so than anything, I didn't really get hired for modeling. I actually got hired for like makeup and like assisting in photo shoots because I am creative, so they'd want a hand with that, or they'd want, hey, your makeup looks awesome. Can you do mine? And it was like, well, yeah, I guess I can, huh? And then that kind of, like, I'm really happy about that. Like, sometimes people are like, well, what do you do that for? You're not making any money, so you just do it for free. And it's like, yeah, but I'm investing in myself. And sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean it's money, it's time, and it's making a lot of mistakes, and
Oh, you're practicing, right? You're practicing. And well, the other thing is you never know. Like, you never know if the person whose makeup you did gets a really good picture and somebody important sees it and they're like, hey, who did your makeup, or how did you get this picture together? So it's not really a waste of time. Don't see it as a waste of time if you do. It's like it's an investment, if anything, because you are getting better and you will get that exposure. Hopefully they're like tagging you, the people that whose makeup. So you started modeling from going to the meetups?
yeah, I think so. That's just kind of how it started. I didn't really know anybody, so then eventually I would just shoot with like one person at first. And I mean, I've never really been one to have like a big old crowd, you know?
Yeah.
And like, that's okay. That's just not my steez, I guess.
No, I feel you. Like, yeah. So at the meetups, like people, like a model, especially the more naked you are, the more you'll have like this huge crowd around you, and it's like instantly, like a model will show up and start posing for one person, and then there'll be 15 people behind that person in like seconds. So yeah, it gets crazy. Like when I've been at meets, I've had like, since we know so many photographers, I'll have one here and there be like, oh, model for me real quick, and then I'll be cool. I'll model for you, because I like their work and I know I'm gonna get a cool picture. But then I pose for them, and then somebody else comes, and then I have to stay there, and then I'm like, okay, now what do I do? I'm so awkward.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I like, yeah, it's weird when you have like 5, 6, 10 people taking your picture, and they're
And
like,
sometimes like you don't know who they are.
right.
And then they'll just leave without introducing themselves. And now what? Sometimes they post people, they don't know who they are, they don't tag them. And I feel like that defeats the purpose of the name Meet Up. Like, you're supposed to mingle and be like, yo, hey, my name's so and so. You don't have to follow people on Instagram. That shit's whatever. But like, get to know somebody and like, what are their day jobs, and like, do they work in photography or film, music, whatever. And then, you know, I've met some pretty cool people there, and just yeah, I don't know.
What I can say, cause I'm guilty of this, right? I'm guilty of some like just walking up to some people sometimes that other people are already shooting. I'll take some pictures of them and then just like dip out, cause I get awkward with people sometimes. Like if I don't know you, yeah, I get a
That's where
little
you go practice. That's what the meetup is for.
right.
That's where you go sharpen those skills, and you be like, F it. Hey, my name's Daniel.
I
Like,
I try I try
trust
here and
me.
there, but yeah, like some
Gotta
people just
have
aren't
confidence.
comfortable. Yeah, but just some people are just like, just let me take these pictures and I don't want to talk and but what I do, like I do that, right? I'll take pictures of people that I don't know and maybe not introduce myself, but I do make an effort if I am gonna use their photo. I
To
do make
find
an
out.
effort to find them, so I'll go through the page and because somebody else is gonna shoot them as well. Like if they were because I'm kind of picky of what I shoot. I'll go to meets and sometimes not even shoot because I'll see I won't be like that interested in it. But like so if I am, it means like I was like you had something interesting that I wanted. So other people obviously are gonna shoot you. So yeah, I'll find them in somebody's picture and tag them. So I do tag my people. I don't know for whatever reason. And then the other thing is like there's like a bunch of people shooting them and I don't want to just be like, hey, everybody stop so I could introduce myself. So like but I get
That's true, I guess.
I totally get what you're saying cuz yeah, like I've seen that a bunch of times and there is a lot of people that don't tag people and don't, like
No.
send
Or
pictures and
even
stuff
make
like
an
that.
effort. Like, I get it, like, that you're shy, but some people just don't make an effort. You know what I mean? And, yeah, like, I feel like at the meets, one of the biggest strong suits would be like being able to see other people and get inspired.
Yeah, I feel like people are open though. Like overall, like anytime I have like initiated an interaction with somebody, like it was really positive. I can't remember of me personally having like a bad experience with somebody specifically. So I do know like everybody's like super open and really nice. Um, so yeah, like overall, I do try to make an effort. I mean, nowadays, like, well, now not nowadays because it's been really weird the last few months, but there's been a meetup here and there, and one of the reasons that I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get out the house is just to talk to people, just to see people, cause like we've been stuck at home this whole time. So I was like, okay, yeah, I need to get out. Like I know like I wear a mask and most of the people there weren't wearing masks unless they were modeling. So I was like, yeah, I just want to see the homies, I just want to get out the house and have a conversation with people.
We honestly took it for granted
Totally.
because prior to this, like, I wasn't shooting. I stopped showing up. I let my whatever get in the way. And then COVID happened. Then you really couldn't go to any meets. It's canceled. Nothing.
Yeah.
You can't even shoot with people because of social distancing. So it made it. That's why it's really nice to go now because everybody appreciates it so much more. And I think, yeah, they took it for granted. So don't take it for granted anymore. Like, don't, like, tomorrow is seriously not promised. So the fact that, like, you can keep telling yourself, I'm going to go to the next one. I'll just go to the next one. And then you might not be able to go to the next one. So seize a day.
No, yeah, I try to tell people that as well. Like you never know. Like I know. Like I almost died. So and even I forget. Like even I forget to to acknowledge that. One of the things that one of the reasons that I started this podcast was because I feel like too many times I've cared what people might think, so I don't put stuff out. And I'm just like at the point where I'm just like, I'm just gonna put my content out there and not care what people might say or might think, and just put it out, you know. I'm going out to the meets now with the intent of like talking to people and, you know, having conversations. But yeah,
and introducing yourself.
I try. One of the other things that I know you for is these apples here.
I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted to eat the gummy worm, and then I realized that you would probably hear me eating it, so I put it back down.
Yeah, and people would definitely be like, dude, you're
It was like ASMR.
No, like-
ASMR on my Enchanted Apples, at Enchanted Apples on Instagram.
Yeah, so how did you get into apples? How did you get into making them? Or?
I used to work at a store that would make them, but I didn't know the recipe for them. So I taught myself, and through like many, many years, I've been able to perfect it to where it's a delicious consistency. And, you know, then I covered in chocolate and cookies. I'm inspired by Mexican candies, so I have a mazapan flavored one, which I know you like that one.
That's my favorite.
And the tahine is also, and I'm excited because I'm gonna go to TJ next week actually. So I'm gonna bring back some chamoy powder, and we're gonna go in on that.
Well, there's a few other ones you do. There's
I have like tons of flavors.
And you.
What you need?
what y'all need?
Yeah. Abuelita Coco. It's inspired by Coco.
Yeah, I had one. It was bomb. The last time,
It's made with Abuelita chocolate and coconut. That's why it's called Abuelita Coco.
And it was good.
It was bomb. That one's bomb.
Yeah, I was like eating it in the car, just like I'm just gonna chill here. And, like I was like, I'm gonna just take a bite real quick. But I ate the whole goddamn thing in the car. I was just like,
everyone always says that. Everyone's always like, man, I'm gonna wait. And then no, they're like, I'm just gonna get one. I should have got another one.
I've stopped trying to eat candies or like any. So it's like, what I might, you know, it's an apple still, so it's kind of
Hey, you
healthy.
gotta please your inner child, okay?
Yeah, that's
If your
actually
inner child likes candy apples, you better give him one.
Yeah, but my body and my stomach, it's like, what you doing, bro? What is this? No, what?
They like gummy worms? Yeah.
So you kind of like learned the process a little bit working somewhere, and then you just started
Yeah, well,
experimenting
at
and-
the store, they would just have them coated in the caramel. And I never cooked that. I never made that, so I didn't know what was in it, how long it took, or what I was even getting myself into. And I just used to coat them in the white chocolate and then put them in the cookies and all that. And I was really good at it. And I really enjoyed it. And after I left that job, I was like, man, I miss that. Yeah, I was like, I could probably do it myself. And then I went out and bought a bunch of caramel squares and melted them in a pot, and they were like the grossest, hardest, disgusting caramel apples. Cause you know the
like
you know which ones. No, it didn't get burned, but because it was like pre-made, it wasn't the same. So then I was like, I have to make it myself. And then I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I really didn't.
But it ended up working out because
It did. It took a long time. It takes like about 2.5 to 3 hours to make the caramel for 125 apples, which is how many I make each time I cook.
Okay, so you have a set number.
Yeah, 125 apples every time. And like the first few times, I didn't know it was going to take that long. So I would get like desperate, like as the time would pass, and I would just see water or I would burn it. It's so temperamental. It's like all chemistry. Like, I don't know.
You were cooking for real.
Literally a witch. It's like me and my cauldron for 2.5 hours
But it worked out.
laughing.
It worked out though, because you're making some bomb ass apples. And
Yes.
so you have an Instagram page. I know
I
that.
do.
Do you have anywhere else that you
No,
put
I
'em?
mainly just stick to that. But I mean, the other great thing that's came from them is the people I've met, because I actually wouldn't have met you if I didn't meet these out, if I didn't make these, because that's why I was invited to that event. And I've met a lot of community organizers that also set up different events, and I'm able to meet all kinds of vendors for bread and cupcakes and pins, clothing and photographs and everything you could think of. So I really feel like I never need to go to a store for much. If I'm going to get a gift, like I can just support somebody in the community and get something. And now with COVID, it's less exposure. So, definitely shop small and support your friends.
No, for sure. Have you done any events since COVID?
I have not done any events since COVID. And I actually am going to go and have my first one this month in October. And I'm nervous about it.
Why? Nervous because you're going to be vending again, or?
Yeah, I'm just really nervous about just the event in general.
Yeah.
I haven't been out and done one in a while, so I'm just like, what's happening?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going out feeling like that, like, like, is it going to be different? Like, are people going to actually show up? Is everybody going to wear a mask? Are they not going to have a mask?
It's going to be harder to sell.
You think so?
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to see me smile when I talk about my apples.
People are going to be like,
Let's smile with my eyes.
There you go. Anytime you pop them out, people are just, yo quiero, like, right away,
That's
dude.
kind of true. I mean, there have been days where I haven't sold them many and I start to feel sad and I start to feel like nobody wants my apples. Nobody cares about me. No, I'm just kidding. But I do feel like that. But then I have days where, like, for instance, I had made apples all summer and then I made my first batch recently before I made this one, and I sold out like so fast within a day and a half. And that felt so good. I felt so loved and supported by everybody. And it did make me feel like they matter,
No, they do. Like, I mean, they're creative, they're good, and who doesn't love candy apple? It's
and
like,
who makes them a crazy person, because they take forever.
a crazy person. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was just like, because don't they make like pre-made one that's like super easy to make? Or is that like,
but it's
weird
different.
tasting?
It's a completely different like consistency. I wouldn't be able to do what I do
With that.
with the rest of the toppings if the caramel didn't sit the way that it does.
So like you literally like perfected.
Yeah, because it could be like really light. It can be burnt.
Mm-hmm.
It can be not cooked all the way. Like and you can mess it up in like a minute.
Really? So when you were learning, you were kind of like messing up a few batches.
Oh, I've messed up so many batches.
That's all bad.
So many batches. And I've burned myself. Thing is, like, you mix in all these ingredients and it's really interesting and satisfying to see, because at first it's just like almost like water. You're just mixing, stirring. And as the time goes by, it gets thicker and thicker and it starts to bubble up because it gets really hot.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when it bubbles up, it burns.
Like it.
Oh, it'll like jump. It'll like pop and like
Right.
hit my arm or
It
like
gets
my
stuck to
chest
you.
or something. And it will burn.
Yeah.
Like I have scars. I have caramel scars.
Yeah.
I really do.
So you you just kind of like plan them out for events, or can people like contact you if they want to like host a party or
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that? They
Yeah,
can
I do
contact you.
both.
Okay.
100%.
So
I do try to keep a minimum of at least 100 because I have to make 125 each time.
right, right,
So, it's got to be, you got to put in that order.
right. So it has to be at least a order of 100 at least to
Yeah.
get you. So yeah, they can just DM you
Yeah.
to if they're trying to get that Apple
Sometimes I'll
business.
do like 50 depending, because sometimes I can still sell them after, but now with COVID, I can't just like walk around with them or,
Yeah, people are gonna be like,
you know,
did she cook these safely? Like,
yeah, it's not even that. Like, I just don't even want to get close to people,
right,
and I don't really feel comfortable with exchanging money with a bunch of
right,
random people right now. Like, I love anybody who has supported me, but I can't go out and meet new prospects because of that. Like,
right. No, yeah, like,
it's scary.
and now you have to actually think about that stuff. Like, you kind of have to, like, is the event gonna be big? Is there gonna be a lot of people? Or, again, are they gonna be wearing masks? And like, yeah, I totally understand. Like, the first months after COVID and I was just here. I was literally just home because aside from my injury, like my dad too, he has like a health condition too. So yeah, when those first things started coming out and people were like, anything with like underlying, health, I was like, oh, that's me. I gotta stay my ass home.
No, I know.
No, yeah, it's crazy, man. Like how things, like at the beginning of this year, who would have thought like that would be living some of the crazy stuff that's going on aside from COVID, like all the like hate and like racial tension that's been going on. It's just like, what's
Oh my
going on,
gosh.
man? Like, what? It's craziness. Like,
Everything is just falling apart. Not that it's falling apart, but it's just more. People can't just dismiss things anymore because it's really in their face. And it's hard to process because before we did have to go to work and we had to go to school and we were living these lives that are just so fast that
mhm,
you don't have time to stop and think about kids in cages or kids getting sex trafficked or the president or the possible candidates and COVID being whatever and yeah, people that aren't wearing masks and is it real, is it not, like it's exhausting.
it is like it especially if you just keep looking at everything that's happening. And I feel like, yeah, like I mean, there realistically, like a lot of people have committed suicide. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of um so many things have popped up because of people that have had to stay home and not been able to
People
work.
are
And
losing their houses, they're getting kicked out of their apartments. We're talking old people, families. It's sad. Like, it's a sad time. I feel grateful that I've managed to survive and not, like, I don't know.
no, yeah, and there's a lot of people that, I mean, even before COVID, there was a lot of people barely making it, especially like here in California, like with taxes and everything so expensive, like housing is so expensive. Like there was people barely holding on even before COVID, and now without jobs and then the economy and it's crazy. Like we're living through some crazy stuff, situations.
Yeah, I would have never thought that this year would have gone the way that it did, but like it's almost as if like I just feel like what's next? Bring it on. It's October and nothing weird has happened yet. Oh, actually, yeah. Trump got COVID. Supposedly he got COVID. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yeah, you think that's some kind of like,
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he did. He's been around a lot of people, makes sense. And
But no,
He
yeah.
doesn't always wear his mask, and maybe he doesn't wash his hands. I don't know.
No.
But I'm glad he's doing better. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I also don't wish nothing bad on anybody.
Yeah, obviously, nothing warrants death. I mean, some death obviously warrants death if you kill somebody or something. But yeah, for the most part, you never want to wish bad on anybody, regardless of.
I don't want that karma.
Nah, you don't need that.
I see y'all.
But how do you? I know everybody's been inside, but how do you feel like interact when you interact with people now? Like, what vibes are you getting? Like, are people, realizing that?
I feel like I'm comfortable around people that have been safe, and have been taking precautions, and I know that they haven't been out, you know. But people that I don't know, people approaching me at my job, I just can't help but think,
Not yet.
like, you need to step back, lady.
Let's take a step back, ma'am. Before you ask that question.
You are too close. You need to back up.
Even now, like, things are kind of shifting a little bit, and some stuff is opening up. Here, when I've gone out around my neighborhood and like LA, West LA, where I'm at, for the most part, there's a lot of people wearing their masks. But I was watching a baseball game earlier, and they showed a picture of San Diego, and it looked like a normal, like no one was wearing a mask. It was like on the beach, like, and there's a lot of places that aren't taking it serious like that. But I feel like here, for the most part, people took
Yeah.
it seriously, and most people
For
are
sure.
wearing masks. That's one of the things that been having difficulties with the podcast is like, do I really want to have people here? Like, do I want to be bringing in different people, or should I work with Zoom but I feel like the conversation is different when you have somebody in front of you, though, and especially right now since I'm just starting and getting used to doing the whole podcast.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, this is a big wake up call for people, to like do stuff, live, because you never like. Look at us. Who would have thought January if you would have told me like, yo, we're gonna be? I would have been like, nah, like no. But you never know. Things can always.
You just have to start.
Definitely.
You just have to start. Like, it could be small. It doesn't have to be a big old scheme. You just have to start. It takes one thing.
What motivates you to get things going? Like what? Because
It's hard. That's a hard question because I feel like I'm not always motivated to keep going. And my natural instinct is to ignore everything.
ignore it.
Yeah, like I'm going to ignore everything, and I'm going to make it 10 times harder on myself by not eating right, by not sleeping enough, by spending my money, by not making apples and making excuses instead. But, that's like the depression and things like that. Mental health is a big problem, but I'm really grateful for all of it because I feel like it helps me process the feelings that I need to feel. And sometimes that takes some time because you don't really know what it is. But then once you figure it out, boom, you can address it and you can move forward. And then that's that drive right there. Where I'm like, oh, I'm blooming right now. Like, I feel like I can do anything because you've let go of that weight that you've been carrying.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I know a lot of creative people, and a lot of people were feeling like unmotivated to be creative because of everything going on or whatever. And it is hard. We were talking earlier about like before we started filming, we were talking about like feelings and like dealing with maybe stuff that you haven't dealt with in the past. Like, do you feel like is that something that people should pursue? Like.
Definitely. I'm going to quote one of my favorite shows called Queer Eye. But I think he says, in order to start the next chapter, you got to go back to the first page.
Right.
And like, I felt like that was beautiful. And it's so true. Like, if you want to, you are in control of the narrative.
Right.
But you need to proofread and go back and be like, okay.
Yeah. I recently started following this guy on TikTok, of all places. His
Gotta
name's
love TikTok.
the random stuff of TikTok. His name's Jason Capital, and he has this thing where he's like, it is all mental. Like when you wake up, like he has this thing where he likes to scream, like, but just he'll be like, ah, like randomly like scream, and it like releases like endorphins or something, and like.
Honestly, I've done that. That's funny that you say that because I've done that.
Really?
And it's felt good.
Yeah,
like I've yelled in my car like a fucking crazy person.
Yeah,
I don't feel so crazy anymore.
He does that. He does that, or he barks. He like.
Okay, well that
like,
I don't. Yeah.
But it does like.
But I'm sure that helps.
Dude, like, well, I'm like right now. People are like, "What the fuck is this guy barking?" But it like makes me feel more like
How does he
alive.
do it? How does he bark?
Like he just like however whatever your bark is, that's what you do. But his thing is like, yeah, it's like mental. Like when you wake up, tell yourself like it's gonna be a good day today. You know, like,
it's as simple as that. And if you believe in like energies and spells, like something as simple as like walking out the front door with your right foot first.
Mm-hmm.
Is like calling in that good energy of it's gonna go the right way.
No, for sure. Like it does help a lot. Like what the energy that you use and you project does. Like that's one of the things that I'm just like, dude, this really works. Like I'll wake up and like the first thoughts will be like, all right, what are we gonna do today? Like let's jump into it. Cause if not, other times I wake up and one of the first things I'll do is like, let me check my Instagram.
Lists are awesome. Lists are great to have. You know, you can attack a few things on there. You know, you don't have to go through the whole thing, but that definitely helps you get like a better sense of control, you know, when there's so much chaos.
Right. Like, so that's something that you do to help you out? Like,
oh, for sure. Like, I have like a huge list of things that I want to do. And sometimes I only do one thing. But then there's other days when I can do a few or most of it. And I just don't feel bad about the things that I don't get done. Instead, I can go through the list and go through the more important ones first.
The recorder cut off. It was running off batteries, and I didn't notice fast enough, and it died. So yeah, and Yara had to get a snack. So now she got a gummy worm in her mouth. So don't get mad at her if she's. You were talking about lists. I've been on this little journey of like trying to help myself out and how to build on like my business, my paintings, and just be better as a person. And a lot of people do say that making a list of goals, things that writing down like the specific things you want to accomplish. So yeah, you're on the right track there when it comes to
yeah, I definitely just like allow myself to feel when I need to. Like if I'm feeling down, if I'm not motivated to do something, then I'm just smoke weed all day then, you know?
Like a cheat day.
Yeah, and it's like I'm gonna binge watch a show that I don't even care about because I I'm like not in a mental space. But then the next day I'm like, boom, let's get it. You know, like I'm a whole different person. So now I don't have to carry those feelings with me throughout the day when like I am trying to do something. You know what I mean? Like,
No, yeah, like yeah, we're human. It's okay to have those like cheat days. But one of the things that I said in a video that I posted recently on I think it was YouTube. Well, actually, it was on another podcast that has nothing to do with me.
mm-hmm.
Well, it does have to do with me because I'm in it, but
I was like,
it's not it's not something that I'm producing. It's for another company. But one of the things that people that are successful do say is you're gonna have those days where you don't feel like working, or you're just not feeling it. You might be a little sick or something like that, and you just have to, on those days, even on those days, like if you really want to succeed, even on those days, you have to like try to push through
100%.
and
But also don't, because you need that. You need that. You know what I mean? You need that. 100%. Sometimes people idolize being workaholics as like this thing. But sometimes you need to slow down in order to keep going. You need to be good to yourself, you know?
No, yeah.
And like, yeah, you want to push through some thresholds, but maybe those thresholds aren't allowing you to see something else that you need to be working on because you're bombarding yourself with work and your business that you turn around and maybe you're not married or you're not seeing your kids grow up or whatever, you know?
I feel like even those that it's in like with some of those people, it's like there's issues. You know, some people I feel like are workaholics because they might have stuff at home that they don't want to deal with, so they're like, I'd rather just work. Like, I'm gonna be good at working. So all the other bad
They
things
take so much pride in it too. It's like that job would drop you, and then what?
Yeah, like with jobs, it's kind of like, especially right now, like people are starting to realize that working a 9 to 5 job is not the most viable option. Like, you have to start finding. There's so many ways to make money. Like now,
There
like
are.
if you're a real hustler for real, you'll find a way, dude. There's people in the corner selling masks right now because COVID happened, and people are buying
That's
masks.
true.
Like, if you're a hustler, you'll find your hustle, and nothing will stop it. Like the people that are financially, like stable now, a lot of those people that already had businesses that were already doing stuff before COVID, they're saying that it's like they're making tons of money because, like a lot of people are home not doing it. So they are looking into like online businesses, or a lot of people are starting podcasts or started to make videos, and those skills, like acquiring some of those skills, especially in this climate and time that we're living in, is really helpful. Like, like if you really, really think about it, yeah, like trading, like your hour per whatever money you make is just like, it's not viable because you have to be there or whatever. Like,
Exactly.
you have to be at that location. So you got to find a way to make like income where you're not actually like physically working or whatever.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I did. I feel like I've always had ideas to make money, and over these last few months, it's really gotten better. You know, I just also just allowed myself to really freely be like, I'm going to have a lot of streams of income and I'm going to have money and that's going to be okay. Like, I don't know. It's that thought of not always living paycheck to paycheck or like I'm always broke or whatever. Like once I dropped that narrative, it was like, oh my gosh, now I have like more than enough. That's great. Cool.
Keep hustling. Keep getting it.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about. So we shot today. Like, you think you're gonna continue, like doing shoots, or are you gonna?
It's hard. It's hard. For sure, I'll definitely continue. I'm still exploring this whole new thing. I've opened another stream of income for myself, and I'm trying to explore that a little bit more because I've always liked taking slightly risque photos, for myself, and like some I've shared, and then it turns out people want to see them, so they'll pay me, and yeah, so because of that, like it feels really good to be able to get paid for my work. So
Right.
you know, I get to invest in my outfits. I get to just have fun and like not worry about the scrutiny of Instagram or whatever because people are subscribing to see what I'm posting, and that's the only way they can see it.
Did y'all get the hint? You know what she's talking about?
Yeah, but again, it came with that mentality of like, I'm gonna do this, and
It's your body. It's you. You're only here once. People are gonna judge you regardless of what you do.
That's
Everybody
true.
gets judged. Like, it's human nature to be like, fuck that guy or fuck that, because they're doing something or not doing something. And it's like you were saying, like we could be gone at any time. Like it goes back to like what people might say or might think. At the end of the day, man, people are gonna judge and hate regardless of
Yeah,
anything, whether you're doing good, whether you're doing bad.
exactly.
At the end of the day, just do what makes you happy, like whatever that
Exactly.
is,
And
whether
it
that
does
be.
make me happy. I like what I do. It's fun and I have a great time. All of my subscribers are really nice. They treat me good. They respect me. And with it came like the decision of like before I opened it, I was like thinking about it for weeks and thinking about what my family would think if they found out and all these things. And I was like, they don't even talk to me. That's what it came down to. It was like, none of them have checked in on me through this pandemic, but they'll probably find out about this and have the urge to talk about it. But none of them would ever stop to ask me if I need anything and if I'm okay. Because I don't need anything from anybody. But maybe your time, to connect. But that's what made me be just like, yeah, we're doing this. And it was the best thing I could have did. Like within days, I had like all these subscribers and everyone was nice and requesting stuff, and it was great.
And you feel like,
And it's so great.
do you feel like it's helped you kind of like be more open with yourself more?
For sure. I'm definitely more confident now, even though I'm thicker than what I was a year ago. And I feel like that's due to the fact that people are subscribed, because I didn't think anybody would even subscribe when I first thought that I was going to open it. I was like, oh, like probably get like a few people, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Get to test the waters or whatever. And to my surprise, I had like 30 something within like a couple of days. And I was like, oh, like that's
damn.
crazy. Like that's fun,
No, it's like,
exciting.
yeah, we were having a conversation over the phone or texting, and that's one of the things that I was saying, like, everybody has different tastes. Like, not everybody likes one specific thing. There's a little bit of everything out there. Like, there's people that like stuff that most people might think is weird, and like, or feet, or they're just like, there's something for
Exactly.
everybody. So like, the whole like beauty standard that Hollywood and the media kind of like portrays, it's like so wrong, because there's no right or wrong type of body. There just isn't, because everybody's unique. Everybody has something to offer. Like, and that's what I was telling you in our conversation, that you have to kind of like embrace your uniqueness, because you are the only you. You know, only you can offer what you're offering. Nobody else.
Exactly.
There might be billions of other people in the world, but there's only one of you. And like I was saying, like, everybody likes something different. You know, like, how boring would it be if everybody like had the same body, the same everything?
That's true.
We'd be like, oh, I want to be different. I want to have this
I
or
know. I mean, I feel like we all struggle with that every day, huh? Like, that's such a. But that's what I meant by, like, I feel more confident now, because now, even though I'm not the same, I still feel sure about myself, and I still feel like just because I'm not that way doesn't mean I'm not going to reach it. I'm fine. I'll get there when I start, and it'll be great, because I'm being patient with myself.
Well,
I've lived through a pandemic, and amongst a ton of other things, you know, I gotta be easy on myself on one thing. It would be terrible if I added me being insecure and, you know, always feeling like I can't do anything because of my weight. So like, I'm only stopping myself by saying that, and I'm proving myself wrong by doing my photos and getting subscribers and then getting such great feedback sometimes, where I'm like, wow, like, sometimes I like, you wouldn't think, it's like we were saying earlier, sometimes you post a picture and you're like, you love it so much, and no one cares about it, and then you post like, we were just shooting like for whatever, and then what?
fire extinguisher.
And then they're just like, everybody likes it. And that's kind of a really cool feeling, because you really get a reaction from people.
Yeah, when we were shooting, I had this thought. I don't know how it's gonna come off. So hopefully it's not weird or anything. But I was gonna tell you, like, cause we like, while we were talking about shooting, you were kind of mentioning that you weren't feeling like 100%. But I was gonna tell you, like, once you realize, like, that there really is like a variety of what people like, and you embrace your body completely and really embrace, like, trust me, dude, you'll make money, dude. Like, yeah, like,
Yeah, I'm scared still, but I'm doing it.
you'll get there.
It's baby steps, you know?
Yeah, but no,
I can't expect to be like Britannia or any of these other like super beautiful, great, bootylicious women.
you are where you need to be, you know. Like, don't feel like I need to do all these changes and blah, blah. Like, if you want to do those changes, cool, but don't feel like you need to do something to be beautiful or to have something to offer, because you
Yeah.
already do. If you want to make changes, well, cool, but it's not like I feel like it's not where it's like, if you don't do it, you're you know, this or that. Nah, like, we're just, what matters, I guess what matters at the end of the day is that you're happy.
Mm-hmm.
That you know,
Exactly.
that you're, if you're not, if you don't feel happy, well, handle work, you know, put in that work. If you're not where you feel like, don't just say, oh, I feel this, or like,
exactly.
if you're gonna make a change, or if you make the change, you know, like,
again, that's what I meant earlier about being patient with myself, is like, I'll get there when I get there, and when I do, it's gonna be great. I'm not gonna pressure myself into it, because I can't be mean to myself about it if I'm not doing anything about it. Right. So it's like, why would I be like, I'm so this, I'm so that, if I'm not working out every day? Like, that doesn't make sense to be that rude to yourself. So now I'm just like, all right. Like, and then I don't know, then I work out and I feel great. And if I do it for 2 or 3 times a week and I'm not as consistent or whatever, that's all right, man. Life literally happens. Sometimes it's hard to get into that discipline, but that doesn't mean that you can't get there.
Right.
Even if you missed a few days, you can always start over again, and that's what's cool.
Right.
I just start over.
As long as you
As many
keep
times
moving,
as you
as
want.
long as you
Yeah.
move at some point,
Yeah.
you know.
Exactly. That's it.
As long as you.
Yeah, just don't get stuck, like I said.
Yeah, it's all a process. It's like once you learn that it's okay to give yourself breaks and it's okay to mess up, and on some days when you know, if you feel like you've messed up, push a little harder on the day that you're feeling good and like
Exactly.
on point. Well,
Exactly.
really push on that day.
Go
or whatever.
hard. Go
But
hard.
it's a process, definitely. Like, and talking to people, just like communicate. Like that's something we haven't been doing with everything going on, and like with texts and all that. It's different than sitting in front of somebody and
Exactly.
having a conversation. So yeah, we're gonna close it up because it's getting kind of late.
I
And
know. I look all tired.
so yeah, if you guys wanna check out Yara's page, check out her Apple's page. I'll put the links to that so people could find you and connect with you, say what's up, buy some
Please.
apples maybe at the next event you do, because you do post the events that you're
Yes,
gonna
I
do, right?
do. Yes, I do.
So yeah, you guys could find her on her page. I'll post it on. I'll post it on the screen. I'll show them. I'll show them your IG and all that. So yeah, thanks for coming through and shooting with me and helping me practice a little bit. It was really cool having a conversation with you and shooting with you.
Thank you. It was really nice. Thanks for having me.
For sure.
Always a pleasure.
For sure. Well, have a good one, guys. Peace.
Pacing in my studio, just coming up with dapper bars to spit in crucial situations when I play the rapper's part. Heard I got a denim heart and lyricism in my jeans. Cut a track down, leave it bald head like Mr. Clean. Spit it mean, a record fiend. I school you niggas, call me Dean. I'm always speechless, never seen. Stay on the chase for minty green. It's local how these niggas say they ballin', but they broke though.